Are you trying to get back into working out and it's taking forever? Maybe you went on vacation for a few weeks and you're trying to get back into routine and it's been very challenging. Or life just got busy because it can. Or even that you have a chronic condition and you had a flare of that condition and now it's been really difficult as you try to get back to where you used to be. So how long does it take to get back in action? I'm Dr. Banasali, autoimmune specialist and lifestyle medicine physician. Let's talk about it. In answer to the question of how long does it take for us to get back into it, well, let's work backwards and start with a few different days that you need to remember. Now, this research came out in about 2020 when they realized that a lot of athletes were not able to compete like they previously were doing because of COVID. And because of the pandemic, you couldn't go to these training competitions, so they couldn't be around other people. Sometimes if they didn't have the COVID vaccine already given, or maybe it was just that COVID was so active at that time that they didn't want to get all these athletes together under a roof. And so people were kind of losing their skills, right? They weren't working out. And this is when the research came out to say, how long does it take for our bodies to kind of go back to where they used to be? And then if we're retraining them, how long does it take to kind of get back in action? So let's talk about these days and numbers. Let's break it down to when and where our activity level decreases and we start feeling the changes. After just 3 days of inactivity, where you're just not working out as much, not going to the gym, the blood plasma level in your circulation decreases. So how does that impact you? You may not feel very different. It's the equivalent of a long weekend. And yeah, you probably should have been working out, but it's okay. You go back to the gym and you're able to kind of get back into it. After 12 days, studies are showing that the total amount of blood that your heart is pumping is going down. So that means less oxygen to your muscles and other cells of your body. What if you go back to the gym at this point? Well, you still may not feel a whole lot different. Couple weeks, and yeah, it may take a day or so to get kind of back in the groove of where you used to be, but still you're not going to feel very different. And the way they measured this was something called VO2 max. VO2 max is a way that people try to measure your exercise activity and oxygenation. So what they do is it's the maximum amount of oxygen your body can absorb and use when you're doing exercise. And it can measure kind of your fitness level, how aerobically fit you are. Some people call this your oxygen uptake level. There are different tests to measure the VO2 level, whether it's a walk test, run test, and there's other measures as well. You can go to a professional and get that measured if you really want to know your aerobic fitness level. But when they measured it, they noticed that it was actually after 3 weeks where your body just doesn't feel the same when you go back to the gym because you've lost a lot of muscle cells at this point. Because the energy produced for your muscle cells really goes down at this point. After 3 weeks, it's really tough to kind of get back in the same activity level you were at previously at the gym. But don't worry, because you can still get there. So after about a month, you definitely want to get back in the gym before you lose any more of your activity levels, because you'll feel a little bit more tired, but you'll still be able to do it, hopefully at a similar level to where you were before. But if you wait till after a couple months, so about after 8 weeks, because now the size and strength of your muscles is different, and it will be very tough to kind of get back to where you used to be, and you'll probably be much more sore after your workouts than you previously were. But you can still do it and get back there. Now, how soon can you get back? Will it take 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and you're still okay and able to get back into what you previously were at? Well, it'll kind of depend on how old you are also and how fit you are. A 20-year-old compared to a 65-year-old is very different in terms of how quickly they can kind of bounce back into where they used to be. What does this mean to you on a regular basis? Can you take a vacation or not? Yes, you can take a vacation. A prolonged vacation though, you may want to think about your activity levels during it. It may be that you're not going to the gym anymore for weight training and you're lifting these small weights or maybe larger weights, but you might still be doing a lot of walking during your vacation, and that's fine. Take the stairs when you're going up. Maybe it's not a bad idea to rent that 3rd floor Airbnb unit instead of going on a hotel and the elevators there. There's lots of different ways you can look at it. If you're in a hotel room, if you're away for the summer and you don't have your weights with you, that's completely fine. You can do exercises with body weight training. There's actually a lot of exercises on YouTube that you can do for body weight. Any way that you have to keep yourself active. It doesn't have to be in the most conventional way. You might have to find your own routine, but stay active because that'll help you stay fit. And when it's time to go back to the gym, it'll be easier to kind of get back into where you used to be if you've already been staying active. There is good news. How long is it going to take to kind of get back there? Well, let's say you were an older adult, maybe 65 years old, and you took a 3-month break because you went to visit other people, visit grandchildren or somewhere else. If you're going consistently to the gym, you can regain about half of your fitness in less than 2 weeks if you're going and you're doing moderate exercise at least. Remember, everybody is different. Where you started might be different than somebody else, and how long it takes you to get back to that level is going to be different than somebody else. It's going to depend on so many things. If you have a chronic condition or any other issues, it may take longer to get back into where you used to be. But the point is to keep trying, because your strength is really what's going to carry you far. So be strong, move, and if you learned something, hit subscribe, and we can talk about more changes for a healthy lifestyle. I'll see you next time.